Mikeself and I. It's me, Mikeself and I. Me, Mikeself and I. It's me, Mikeself and I.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, it's time for your weekly Fix of Funny. Broadcasting on radio in Fort Bragg, 107.7 FM, KNYO. Grab a mimosa, take your pants off, and treat yourself to the sexy bald man who makes you tingle in your special place. I was talking about your heart. He's wrong, but he's so right. He's brilliant, he's insightful, but also at times he's got the intelligence of a cup of dirt. Here we go, it's the Me, Mikeself and I show, starring Mike Bengar!
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Me, Mikeself, and I am your host, Mike Betancourt, here, episode 124. Yes, excuse me, sorry, 124 episodes right here, right now. Everyone that's watching live, thank you so much for being here. We have a phenomenal show tonight. Tonight, I have a very good friend of mine. I know I say that a lot, but I've known this person for as long as I've been doing stand-up comedy. It's been a long time, and I'm very happy she's open for Chelsea Handler, Dana Carvey, and Kevin Hart. Sandy Stec is here. She's waiting in the green room right now, having mimosas and M&Ms and just chilling, waiting. She's like, when am I going to jump in? Relax. She's going to be here momentarily. But right now, I know I have like all these, the words of the day. Last week, I always have like the movie quotes today. But today, we're going to go by that. You see that? It says, you can read my terrible handwriting. It says, chillax. That's all we got to do. Okay? I know it's difficult because it's 2020, and I wanted to talk about the Trump rally in Sacramento, and I wanted to talk about all the protests, but it's just the same thing over and over, and there's so much anger, and there's so much, it's too much for me, and I'm high energy. Okay, it's too much for me, and I was gonna talk smack, but let's all namaste and chillax. Ready? Let's do an MMI podcast. That's me, Mikeself and Iers. MMikers, you ready? Let's just take a deep breath. Nope, COVID's still here. Damn it! COVID's still here. I hope everyone. How is everyone? The people that are watching right now, how are you right now? Please leave a comment, and I want you to also interact on this show because you are a huge part of this show. If you have questions for me, if you have questions for Sandy, it's going to be all good, and I want you to be a part of this show. So all you people right now, thank you. I know my regulars keep popping back up, and I thank you guys and ladies for being here, part of this show. So let's just chillax and move on to the next best thing. And the next thing is this feud is taking over, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time watching, last couple of weeks, my impression of Nick Nolte has egged on and taken over and started bullying my impression of Hank Hill. And now they're in war with each other. I don't know. I don't make this stuff up. I mean, I do, but I'm trying to tell you that these two people are fighting against each other. So last week, Nick Nolte said some pretty harsh words about Hank Hill and Lady Bird. And right now, you're going to see Hank Hill's response to last week's what Nick Nolte just said about him and his dog. So here we go. Here's Hank Hill.
Now wait a gosh darn minute. Who on God's green earth and purple mountains majesty are you talking to? Nobody. And I mean nobody talks about Lady Bird like that and gets away with it. Nick Nolte, you've crossed a line that is unforgivable. And son, boy, mija, if I ever see you in the streets, I'm gonna tear you a new one bigger than the Grand Canyon. Comprende? It's on like Donkey Kong. Let's go, mofo. Bring it. I'm Hank Hill. I love you, America.
Ding! He just called out Nick Nolte. Oh, are they going to fight? What are they going to do? I don't know. We'll find out next week. And we have comments already. Matthew Robinson is back on the show. One of the regulars. Chillaxin. How you doing, sir? I'm so glad you're part of the show. You got a great show lined up. Thank you for being here, Matt. And also another fan and friend, Elias. Oh, no, not Lady. I know, Elias. I get it. Nick Nolte went for the jugular. You don't mess with a man's dog. You just don't. You just don't do that. And it's a horrible thing that he said crappy stuff about it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MikeBComedy. Pretty simple. So, all right, let's bring up a clip of Sandy Stec. I've known her for such a long time. She's so funny. And so before we introduce her, I want you to see a clip of her stand-up comedy, because I don't want her to do like a Zoom comedy with no one here. I mean, the comments are great, but it's not the same like stand-up comedy. So you got to see her in her element and just sit back, chillax, and enjoy Sandy Stec.
I got a weighted blanket. I love my weighted blanket. If you don't have a weighted blanket, here's what you need to know. They're really good if you have anxiety, if you have stress. I bought mine because I wanted to feel something with weight on top of me. It's a 20-pound weighted blanket, and the weird thing is it actually feels way heavier than that, and it's messing with me because now I just feel like there's like a drunk dude that passed out on top of me. And I go to bed angry at the blanket, like we're in a fight. I'm like, oh, you're so lazy, get off. You're such a loser. And there was a sign next to the blankets, and there's apparently like a weight limit. I did not realize they were that specific. They're like, if you weigh under 150 pounds, you should consider the 15-pound blanket. I'm like, did I just get fat shamed by a blanket? Did this just happen? Then I ended up at the cash register. I'm like, hi, I'll take the 20 pounds, 3 of them, thanks. I talk about weight sometimes in my act, and it's just, I'm a woman, just accept it's on our minds all the time. It really is. They always tell us, it's not about the number, ladies. That is not who you are. And I know that, but I'm just tired of looking down and having the scale say, you have a great personality. I had knee surgery a while ago, so my left knee basically has a donor bone and cartilage in it, which means there's a dead person inside of me. Yeah, it's been actually 8 months since a live person's been in. I'm kidding. It's been a year and a half.
That's why she's amazing. So, are you ready? Here she is. She has opened for Chelsea Handler, Kevin Hart, Dana Carvey. You can listen to her on Star 101.3 FM on Marcus and Sandy Show. Here she is, my friend, your friend, Sandy Stec.
Wow. Thank you very much for that kind intro.
Right? And I remembered every word of it, and I didn't go, oh, let me go look at my notes.
No, you're a pro, man.
Trying to. Well, you're a radio personality pro and comedian pro, so I have to raise the bar. So how you been? How you doing?
I've been good. This is technically my bedtime, so shout out to all your viewers who this is just beginning the night. If you're,
oh my goodness, that's right. You go to bed early, huh? What time do you start tomorrow?
I wake up at 4 every day. But then I snooze because who wants to get up? Who wants to work? I have a cool job and I still don't want to do it. Like, I just don't want to work.
And you work from home.
I'm
right?
working in the studio now, but if we travel because of COVID, we have to do a whole quarantine thing. So we're all good now. But yeah, so I snooze for about a half an hour and then I get there around 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I like it. It's challenging. I think this year has really just made me want to just hide in a yurt in the desert. That's really all I ever want to do. I want to hide in a yurt and just come out when things are normal.
Everything just pops up left and right for 2020. Left and right. Weather.
I don't know how to chillax, Mike. I don't know how to do that without vodka right now.
That's how you chillax.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
judging how you chillax. I'm just saying you need to chillax. That's
Okay,
what I'm
good.
saying. Yeah. So if you gotta do vodka at 3:30 in the morning before you go to work, I'm not judging you. It's
I'm
2020.
judging me a little bit, just a little bit though.
Not much. You'll be
Yeah.
fine. You'll be
How do
good.
you chillax? How do you relax?
I can't say my kids around.
Oh, got it. Okay, I'll fill in the blanks.
It
In my mind.
rhymes with weed.
Okay. I love that you talk like this on your show.
Right. Well, my kids won't watch it yet, but years later, they're like, "Dad is a pothead." Kind of.
It's legal. You're fine. Dad.
Why
is
are
a
your eyes
farmer.
so red, Father? Because I was crying and thinking about my precious family. That's why.
Dad is a farmer. It's fine. He likes plants.
No, my wife, she's like Wolverine. She can sense it. She knows when I'm high. She's like, your eyes look a little.
Oh
glassed out.
no.
Are you high? She always asks it, and I always go, yes, because I have to say it because she says, "Are you high?" Because she already knows the answer.
Yeah.
If I tell her a lie, she's like, "No, you're lying, and you're high."
Yeah,
So
you
I'm
can't
high
double
even
lie.
though-
The eyes don't lie.
Nope. I rather just say yes, I am, and then just go eat something. And
My
walk away.
co-host is funny. That reminds me. So I'm obviously not married, but he is, and his wife can always smell if he's had McDonald's. That's his cheat thing. So she'll always
really?
know if it's in the car or if he comes in, it'll be on his clothes. So she'll know. Women know everything.
They do, and that's what drives women nuts when they don't know everything.
Yeah.
It drives.
Doesn't
me
it
nuts.
drive you nuts that we do though?
I'm used to it now.
Okay.
It keeps me going, I guess. I mean, if I hang out with my friends, they don't care about me. They won't know. They'll be like, they won't go. If something bad happened and I lived with my friends right now, they're not gonna ask me where I'm going when I get up from the couch to the refrigerator. They're not gonna bug me. They're not gonna go
freedom.
They're not gonna go. Where are you going? I'm used to that. I'm like, don't you know? I'm going. I gotta tell them.
Does anyone care that I'm going to the living room?
Hey, I'm gonna go outside. Can I come back? I don't care, Mike. Just leave me alone. So how long you been with the radio station?
I have been in radio for 20 years now. But
Has
I've been
doing
20 years. I feel old AF. But I've been doing morning radio for 8. So in San Francisco on Star 101.3 for 8 years.
Wow.
It's so weird too. Isn't it weird though how like
been 20 years?
20, dude. I don't even know. I'm almost 40. I started when I was 20. It's so weird. I can look back to the first day I started the morning show job. God, I look sweaty as hell. Just an FYI, I am not sweaty. This is pissing me off.
It's a light.
Damn ring light I bought from Amazon that I thought
would you say it was?
It was my influencer light. Where's my blue check mark? And it's not doing its job.
I don't see the rings around the eyes.
No, because I have to wear glasses. Then you'll see it.
Do you
It
have
doesn't matter.
glasses?
You can see apparently every pore on my face. So that's where it's an even trade. But it's not doing. Yeah, Mike has the good light. I've got the cheap one, but it's okay. Anyways, what was the question? It's so hard to do this all online now because you're looking at yourself and like.
That's why I'm looking at my camera right now. I refuse to go.
We're looking at each other. But I'm looking at myself and it's hard not to like. Can I just mention one thing about a Zoom show? Because you mentioned at the beginning of this show about how this is, it's easier to watch comedy like we just did. It's better than Zoom. Can I tell you one thing that happened on my first Zoom comedy show?
We got 40 minutes or more until you go to bed.
Okay.
So take as long as you want.
I know. Until I turn into a pumpkin.
No one's going to give you a light, so you're good.
My first Zoom show, I was hired by a private company and I was like, oh my gosh, look at me getting a corporate gig. I got all cocky. And they're like, give us your dates. Let us know when you're available. We want to promote it. We want to get tons of people. We love your material. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I told them a whole bunch of dates. They picked a date. And when it was time, 9 people were on screen. 9. So either they just didn't want to promote it, they didn't remember to promote it, or nobody cared. Anyways, one guy fell asleep. He fell asleep on camera. And it is so hard. Like as a comic, if you're in a comedy club and someone's sleeping, you'll make fun of it. You'll laugh at it. You won't take it too personally. But dude, when they fall asleep on Zoom, it feels like somebody's flipping you off in your house.
Oh,
it's
too relaxed. That's what it is. It's too chillaxed.
It
That's
is
the
too
problem.
chillax. I had another dude before the show started because sometimes on Zoom comedy they'll have like this one did. You have a little waiting room or an intro, or one
Right.
show had a DJ. And while the DJ was going, so the show didn't even start, there was some dude ripping a bong. He was taking a huge bong hit before, and I saw him. I'm like, whoa, this dude, the show didn't start and he is partying. He is ready to go. And then every comic, because it was a showcase, every comic he ate and he drank something different, which was hilarious. One comic, it was chow mein. Another, when I was on, he was drinking out of a
During the
2
same
liter.
show, or is it these
Yes,
multiple shows?
all
Oh my
one shows.
God.
I'm like, this dude is like, he's got the munchies now and he's going nuts.
Well, if he took
So-
a huge bong rip,
Huge bong rip, which was actually quite, I have to say, Zoom comedy is weird, but part of me likes seeing people relaxed in their house to that extent because you really get to know the real them, you know?
right. Because like when you're at shows, people are all dressed up and it's date night for them, and it's a different, people don't want to laugh too much at the beginning of the show.
Right.
And,
Or they're nervous because you're in person if they're close to
Right.
the stage. So
What
at
is-
home, they don't give a crap. They're on their couch, pajamas. Hell, we're wearing pajamas and we're performing, like this. I will go to bed in this tonight and I'm okay with that.
That's awesome.
I'm all right with it.
You don't have to spend, $15 on tolls to
No.
do a show and then come back and then go, oh, you're not going to get the hey man speech here.
No. And I know you have
Right.
a very supportive following. So thank you for everyone watching right now. Loyal Mike fans.
Emma Mikers.
Emma
They're the
Mikers. I know I
Emma
love your little
Mikers.
nickname for
Now
them.
they'll be the Sandy Steckers.
Aw.
That's what it is. So wow, that's crazy. That's crazy with Zoom. It's gonna be funny though when things pick back up and
Yeah.
go back to this comedy. Are people going to act the same way at Zoom when they go to become an
regular
audience
shows again?
become an audience member again?
Do you know what's so weird though? How like this year, I don't know if it affects you or men like it does me or women. Super sexist to say it like that, but I'm saying from an emotional.
It's coming from you,
standpoint-
so you're fine. You're okay.
Okay. Well, like that question, it depends on my mood. Because right now I'm really kind of having a bummed out week about COVID. And I feel like, are we ever going to get back to regular times again? But like sometimes I'm like, we'll be fine. This time next year, we'll be back in comedy clubs. But currently I have no idea. Like I was supposed to do a week at the Punchline in August, and that was rescheduled from July. Whoops. There
I thought
went
that was
my
a drum roll. It sounded like it's
that was my footrest, which is actually a plastic cabinet I bought from Staples. You're welcome. Nothing but the
Nice.
finest. Nothing but the finest. But yeah, I don't know. I think people are going to be really weird because everything's going to be weird. Everything's going to be weird. Don't you think?
human interaction just in general. People might have PTSD from just saying hi to people and smiling.
Yeah.
In public, because you can't smile in public now because you have your mask, and if you don't, you're protesting about not having or about wearing a mask.
Totally.
Yeah.
If a comedy club asked you right now to do a week, would you be ready?
To headline, no. To
Well,
headline, no.
Material or not, would you be ready to perform in front of a crowd indoors?
Yes.
Because some states are totally doing that now.
If
California is not.
they have me come out and do it, yeah. But it's just the COVID is just too risky. Are you talking about like with COVID or without COVID?
Yeah, like in this current climate, would you be like, for me personally, I would be fine with it because I miss it. I miss the interaction of an audience. I don't know if they'd ever have that indoors anytime soon. A lot of people are doing outdoors or, what is it called? A parking lot, drive-in things or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's the real shows, but still something about the essence of a real show is what we really miss.
Yeah.
So if they ask us to do it, and people are 6 feet apart from each other, and I mean you're getting more toxic poison from carbon monoxide when you're doing a show outside, anyways.
Dude, you're probably getting toxic poisoning from the nachos you're going to eat at the club. Like, who even cares?
point.
Like,
Good
everything we're
point.
doing is bad. Like, let us have a night.
Good point. Speaking of comedy clubs,
All right.
I wanted to bring this up. Probably like it was the first time you and I really worked together. We met each other, along the ranks of comedy, and we always say hi and bye to each other and stuff like that. But the show, I'm not gonna say the guy's name, but we were booked at the San Jose Improv years ago, and let's just call him El Woah. And
Got it.
El Woah, go ahead. You describe El Woah.
I want to make sure we're talking about the same guy. Is this the guy I had a huge crush on?
I don't think so. I think this is a
Okay.
guy that was just a nervous wreck from remember you and I we had a lot of anxiety before because we were we were new in comedy, and then we were at the San Jose Improv, so the pressure of the San Jose Improv, and it was packed, and we're
Huge
just
club.
right. We're going like, oh, we're at a club. This is it. And then this guy just put so much unnecessary stress on us, on you and I too. You remember that?
Was this someone that worked? I can't remember this dude. This is when you
Whoa.
Yeah, I think this whole time I've been
I don't
thinking
want
of
to say his
Elwo
name.
as someone else. So you and I are having two separate memories, and I don't mean to make it awkward.
Hold on, I'm gonna private chat you because I'm not gonna say the guy's name.
What about your listeners? They want to know.
You know what? They'll know.
Okay.
They'll know. Did you get the private chat?
Yes, but I barely remember even him. What happened to my brain? I haven't done a lot of drugs at all. Like
I think you need to.
I think I need to.
But you don't remember that night?
No, tell me. Refresh me. I bet you I will when you tell me.
He was just a manic backstage, and he was telling us to don't do time, then do time, don't do time, then calm down. And before you guys do this, make sure you say this. And it was just like all over the place. Like when someone does meth and they're just like, scratching their pox and everything. It was just all over the place. And we're like, who the hell is this guy? What is this dude's deal? And then we just came up with a nickname of Elwo. So
yeah.
you've been thinking about Elwo differently, a different person?
I thought Elwo was the comic from the North Bay I had a crush on with the neck tattoos.
Hold on, private chat me.
How do I do this? How do I
this
private
whole
chat you?
time?
Yeah.
All these years, like whenever I text him, like, Elwo, what's up? Elwo, this.
Yeah,
you were
this
thinking
whole
about
time.
him?
I thought you were, yeah. How do I send just to you? I don't know how to do this.
Okay, it should say private chat.
It says private chat.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But it says chat with the host and other guests. If I say
No,
his name,
don't.
Okay, let's just not do it.
Text it to me later.
Okay, let's do it later.
Wow,
this is
that's a
anticlimactic
different
for your viewers.
You know what? That's a different story. That is a totally different. You and I, you know what our fans, the audience is witnessing right now? Two different parallel universes at the exact same time.
I feel so old right now because I know that's a funny memory and I can't remember it. And I don't even have a drug past or an alcohol. Like, what the hell's my problem?
Matthew Robbins says, LOL, private chat's going on.
Thank you,
I'll tell you
Matthew.
later, Matt. Don't worry. It's not, I'm just trying to not have a loose tongue.
Was that dude a comic or was he in management?
Both.
Okay.
He was in charge of the show. He booked us.
Yes. This was for a showcase night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a big showcase. It was packed, about 400 people. It was our first time at the he still doesn't ring a bell.
No.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
We've talked.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm super letting down you and all your viewers, and I'm really sorry.
I've never had a cross parallel universe conversation with someone.
Welcome to the other side.
Welcome to Sandy Stec show now.
No, this whole time I thought we were talking about a comic from the North Bay that I had a crush on, and it was awkward. And then somehow, anyways, yeah, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. I wonder how many people. I might have to talk about this on the air tomorrow. How many times you've had an inside joke with someone and they thought you were talking about something totally different?
We had the inside joke this whole time. We even talked about it the day before.
Multiple times. I know. And I thought when you said I want to talk about Elwo, my first thought is, I mean, I don't really like him anymore. I barely talk to him. And
that's what I was saying. I was like,
I had a crush on.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. Right now, I'm putting it together. I'm like, you had a crush on Elwo? You had a crush on this guy?
Oh my God, this is so awkward. However, because this year sucks so bad, I would welcome that experience again. I miss crazy ass performers and nuts comics that are nuts and full houses. Like, I miss that so much.
God, I know so much.
Don't you miss the neuroses?
You know what? I miss that anxiety right before showtime, and then you let it all out when you're performing.
Yeah.
That's what I miss. Even though like you can have a crappy day, you're stuck in traffic, and someone says you're not funny right before you get on stage, and then you just let it all out, and you let all that aggression and everything out when you're performing, and just like, Elwo.
And the audience doesn't understand, like, them being there is therapy for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's a space for us to share our thoughts, our work, our anxieties. And when we hear them laugh, it feels so validating and safe for us to just be who we are, because our comedy is a diary of our mind and our life and our experiences. So when we can share that, it just feels so damn validating. So Zoom is okay. I did a Zoom show last night. There was 100 people. It was nice, but it's not the same. Nothing will ever replace.
You
the
can
energy
never
of life.
feel the laughter though. Like we're having a great time, but
Never.
we're not feeling the laughter. The
No, I
laughter is
know.
the essence. When someone's crushing it, you feel that roar and you can see like the walls almost coming down.
Yeah, the energy of the room, it has its
Yeah.
own feeling. Last night, the show I did, there was a live auction after, but it was on
You
Zoom.
were like, give me 25, 25, 45, 45. Yes. Someone on the microphone on stage.
Well, it was
Yeah.
even weirder. They had this whole thing. God, I'm so sweaty. But anyways, they had this whole, this is never going to not bother me. Like I cannot handle, I'm going to put this farther back. But anyways, they had this whole package of like this dinner package ready to go. And they asked people to private chat like their bids. So like it
Right.
was so anticlimactic because nobody knew what the bids were until they said it out loud. And it was just weird.
There must have been a weird delay for the auctioneer.
Yeah.
It was like 25.
Yeah, that's
25,
anyone
21,
else?
25.
And then they're like, let's look in the chat. Anyone else? It was just odd. I mean, that's what we have to do now. And you know, shout out to people who've gotten the hang of it. I still
Right.
haven't. And we've been doing this since March.
No. Matthew Robinson is asking right now, do you have another Zoom show coming up? We'd love to check it out.
Oh, you're sweet. You know what? I don't know if I do. We'll put our info and you can, if you want to follow, I'll let you know. Thank you
Cool.
though. That was nice.
Yeah, of course. It's just so weird. That's so funny. Parallel universe conversation this whole time for what,
know.
15 years?
For years.
For 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm embarrassed. I thought we had a bond. And we did.
We
Just about something totally
now we have
different.
another bond.
We do.
So what got you into radio, and why did you like radio before stand-up? Why did you pick stand-up before radio?
Actually, I picked them both at the same time.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I was going to community college in the Bay Area at Ohlone, and they have a really good radio program. So I was doing radio, but I thought I just wanted to go on air and do voices. Like I didn't care about radio at all. I thought I just want to be funny on the air and do funny accents and impressions. And you are really, really good at that. Like Mike, you're going to be a famous voice actor one day and buy a house in the Hollywood Hills. Like I already know this.
Zombie apocalypse Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Properties
whatever.
at $20. I'll take it. I'll take
You
the
can seriously make money though. You're really good at it.
oh
But
thank you.
but I went to Ohlone and I was getting my associates in radio or whatever. And the teacher that was one of the teachers also was a DJ at one of the radio stations in San Jose. And he said, they're looking for weekenders. Why don't you send them a, wait for it, cassette tape of you on the air? So I sent them a cassette and they hired me for weekends. So I was working at Hungry Hunter Steakhouse during the week and going on air Saturdays and Sundays on this station in San Jose. I was Mix 106.5 back in the day. And then when I was 20, they asked me if I wanted to be full time. And I was a month away from transferring to San Francisco State for radio because I just thought, well, I don't know exactly what I want, but I know it's something with this, whatever this is, the microphone, entertaining people, talking. And then I did middays. I didn't end up going to college because I ended up getting that full-time job, which totally makes me feel like a dropout, but I don't know what else to do. You know, it's like, what do you do if the job is offered, but also you want to do school?
Right.
I don't want to go to school. So anyways, so that was that. So I did midday radio for 10 years and then I've been doing this job for almost 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And
Right.
to last in radio is such a huge feat as well, because everyone gets hired and fired left and right. So how did you
I don't know.
stand that?
I'll never know how we're on the air still. Like we're so lucky. It is. And you know, when you grow up and you listen to shows you like, you can remember them, but it's changed. I don't know how many of your listeners are here locally, like at least or Sacramento, Bay Area, Central Valley, whatever. But like, I mean, I can't tell you how many shows that none of them are around. None of them, maybe one, but God, it's changed so much. So we actually had, you want to hear a funny story? My co-host and I were on air for a year and this was an arranged marriage. I did not know him before we went on air together.
Arranged marriage.
Total arranged marriage. So literally I met him and they're like, this is going to be your new co-host. And I was like, okay, you know, what can you do? And the hardest part of that is you have to be funny and make people laugh and have this chemistry, but you don't know each other.
Right.
And I'm around Marcus 8-9 hours a day. That is the closest thing to a relationship that I have because I'm physically with another person. So it is a relationship. You know, we have to have meetings. We have to talk our problems out. We get in fights. We do all that crap. We try to do it off the air, but once in a while he really annoys me. It happens, but it's authentic too. That's authentic too, as long as it doesn't make the listeners feel uncomfortable because it got a little too real. And I've definitely been guilty of that. Maybe a little.
Really, I can't picture you doing that, but I
oh
believe
my
you.
God, are you kidding me?
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah. No, it's like, you know, when your wife's annoyed at you, that's me with Marcus all the time. Like, you just know, you're like, I shouldn't push the button. And then you push the button, she gets more pissed. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But one day we
push
were
that button.
Yep. You decide to just try to do a little funny haha, and then she explodes and she's pissed. I've been there. So one day,
I'm sure you're good at pushing buttons too because you're a comic, and that we go under that core of just playing around. We'll go straight to the jugular and really
straight to the jugular. I love it. It feels good as Arsenal.
It
Take
is
that right in the neck.
We'll be right back.
Yeah. Here's Nickelback. No, but the weirdest day I had on air, because I've only had these 2 jobs, and that's not common either for radio.
That's amazing.
I know. So
that's
very
really
grateful.
amazing.
It was 1 year after I started working with Marcus, our boss, who was a newer boss. I remember we were supposed to go to lunch with him and the big boss in our building because my boss was newer. He was there a week. And I went into his office, and all of a sudden he gets out of his chair and he starts walking to the big guy's office, and we go sit down. And I thought, oh, well, I'm so ignorant. I'm like, maybe we're all just going to like talk before we have lunch. And then the big boss closes the door and lets us know, hey guys, your last day on air is going to be tomorrow. And we're like, oh. And of course, the whole time I'm like, so does this mean we're like not having lunch? Like, I'm so dumb. Like, I can't. So literally we're like getting let go in real time. And that was a Thursday. And they said, you know, sometimes, you know, new morning shows just don't work out. I guess there was another show that they'd already been talking to when we started, and it was getting closer and closer. So they said, you can come in tomorrow or you don't have to, but it'll be your last day. So we decided to come in, and after our last show, we couldn't say anything because we wanted to, you know, follow the rules, but we knew, and nobody else
knew. How could you
knew.
Not say something though?
Because
how could you not like bite your lip and say?
I'll give Marcus credit. I would have, but he said, Sandy, I've seen these things play out before. Be kind.
Yeah.
Just do a good job and be easy to work with. You never know. And that I honestly think saved us, because I guess whoever they were going to hire, it fell through because it got too complicated with their lawyers or whatnot. And we were just so easy to work with. We were respectful. We didn't tell anyone. Now it's totally out and it's not even a big deal, but it was weird, man. It was weird being on the air when I knew it could end at any second.
Wow.
And technically that's like all of us, right? We don't know like when our employment's going to end, when the world is going to, like, that sounds so dark, but you just
2020, we're good.
Yeah, I know we were born for this.
Right.
So yeah, that was really weird. And then we went, and our boss called us. He's like, could you go on air another week? I'm like, okay. And then another week. Okay. And then he's like, just keep on being on air until we tell you it's done. So like towards the end of the year, I was like, so are we? It was like, I think it was like mid-December. And I said, hey, so do you want us to come back in January? Like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, yeah, I told you until we tell you what's going on. So finally, the end of January, they're like, hey, it fell through. We want to keep you, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine? It was 3 months.
Oh, my God.
3 months.
That must have been stressful. Like knowing you're going to work to get fired.
Knowing you have an end date, and it just depends on when they sign with whoever this other team is.
For 3 months.
3 months. Can you believe it?
That is brutal.
I remember I did an event. It was at Hillsdale Mall in San Mateo, where I live. And, it was like around Thanksgiving time. And that was my last live event, because usually at the end of the year, we're not that busy with live events, at least. And I remember thinking, I was all like in my feelings, like in my mind, I said, hugged the listener, bye. And I thought, that's the last time I'll ever see them again. Like, I was all depressed because.
How could you not though? Yeah.
Totally. So
Wow.
I will give Marcus credit though, because I was really emotionally immature and inexperienced. And he was the one that told me, like, just play it cool. So I did. Sometimes, what is it called where you have to like put your tail between your legs and shut up and just do the work? I don't know if
Just bite your tongue.
yeah, bite your tongue and just go. So I think that
So
really
hard.
helped. Isn't that weird?
So during this time of this brutal 3 months of an emotional roller coaster, you were doing stand-up at the
Yes.
same time.
Yeah. Stand-up
So
has always felt like my true heart, though, because radio, it's we're on a time limit. We have
Right.
to, there's certain time, and you just don't get the live interaction. So I started comedy and radio the same exact year, and when I started open mics when I was 19. So
Okay.
and I got my radio job my full time when I was 20. So it's always been who I am. It's just radio is part of it, but comedy is like my heart. I feel like you kind of might be the same way. Stand-up is
Yeah.
probably one of your true loves.
That's stand-up. Yeah, absolutely. It's the one and first love that we were drawn and attracted to. It's that stage time. But I'm just saying, so while you're going through that gruely stuff in the daytime, as soon as nighttime dropped, you didn't even think about radio. You were just thinking about comedy the whole time.
Well,
you just-
I couldn't say anything. So it's like business
Yeah.
as usual, but it's also hard too, because that was at the end of the year, and a lot of comedy shows, unless they're like a private show or a corporate show, aren't happening because the
Right.
holidays. So that was a rough, weird time. That's all I know. But I didn't know any
Wow.
better. Just like right now, like this pandemic we're going through, 20 years from now, it's going to be a memory. But like to people who don't experience this, they're not going to know. So it's like you only know things are crappy when you're going through them. But like other than that, what's your vantage point?
Right.
I
Right.
feel like I'm so boring. Are your
What's
listeners
that?
okay?
Yes, the listeners are fine. We're just getting to
Can you
know
check in
you.
with them and tell them hello? I know I'm here with you, but
Hold on. Let's see. Blair just said Hungry Hunter was
was a
a
good
good
place.
place to eat. There we go.
That is hilarious.
And then
Do you know
Blair
what? Did you
also
have a Hungry
said,
Hunter
"I am
in your
done."
place?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm done when Mike gets a follow complex. Everything goes to hell in LA.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You were saying?
Oh, I was saying, did you ever have a Hungry Hunter steakhouse where you lived?
No,
Oh,
I never went there.
it was a great steakhouse, and I was 18. One of my favorite memories was making out with my manager in the office. That was real fun. And stealing desserts. You're welcome.
Did you get the weekend off after?
Oh.
So why? So when did you get a chance to work with Chelsea Handler, Kevin Hart?
That was at the Improv. I was very lucky. Chelsea Handler and Kevin Hart, I both got to work with both of them when they were coming up. And I remember with her, she said, she goes, yeah, things are going to get so busy for me. I just got this show on E. And it was right before.
Don't you hate hearing that from comics? Oh man, I'm going to be so busy. I don't even know what to do.
Busy. It's so annoying. Yeah, but she was very nice. She was very the comic that was, I can't remember the girl that was featuring because I was hosting and very nervous. But I was doing a good job, and I was just, wanting to be respectful, giving her space. A lot of people think comics are super social, and they're not. Especially in the green room. They're very quiet, or sometimes they're weird.
It's a zen. I take it as a zen moment because it's like right before stage time.
Yeah.
And right before stage time, you don't want to lose that thought process.
Yeah.
Or just that momentum. So I'd rather just be, and then like I'm like that before stage time, and then afterwards I'm like talkative because it's that nervous right before you get on stage. It's that. So imagine being an up-and-comer headliner, and she just got E, and who knows what her life was about to explode.
Yeah.
So who knows if she's thinking about all that stuff too.
I remember I was barely getting any work because I had just started, and she's like, are you working the other clubs? I said, I've done a couple showcases, but I'm not in. And she wrote to the person who was running Cobb's at the time, and she said, hey, I'm working with Sandy Stec. She's doing a good job. Can you help her out? So that was nice. Like that was really, really nice. Little things like that that changes your life as a comic, to have somebody believe in you enough to let somebody in the higher up know, hey, they're good, they're cool. Otherwise, you just have to wait and hope that your talent or your reputation can prove itself. But sometimes it takes a long damn time.
It does, doesn't it?
It's really hard. I'm tired.
What'd you learn from working with Chelsea?
I learned that she really does like vodka. That was not an act. Her energy, it's just funny. I mean, again, it was a long time ago, but I learned that I don't like about her act or about comedy or what?
or just like while you were as a host, because when you're a newer comic, you always learn from all the comics that
I
headline.
learned to be
So
respectful. Just be respectful of their space. And you could say that with any performer, but have the awareness to feel them out. Like if you get a vibe that they kind of want to do their own thing, they probably do, and they're not being jerks about it. They just need to like we do. Everyone needs to get in their own zone before they're performing.
Was Kevin Hart the same way?
Kevin Hart was super nice. And funny story about Kevin Hart. It was him and Reggie Steele I worked with that week.
Oh, really Reggie. How's he doing? Have you heard from him?
I haven't in a while. I still see him on online doing stuff, but I love Reggie. His energy is and he's so funny. What a great guy. I saw Kevin Hart. This is so random, but like 3 years ago, I went to Vegas for my birthday and I was staying at the Aria and I splurged on one of the suites. I forgot what it's called. It's not called a suite, but it was something like a sky room or something, whatever.
Okay.
But I was going up the elevator and Kevin Hart and his wife and 2 kids got in. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, do I say anything? So I just said, hey, I said, I worked with you at the San Jose Improv. I said, I'm really proud of you. You're doing such great things. Thank you. This is my wife. This is my kids. How have you been? Really, it was a short interaction, but it was a weird, cool moment. He was there for like celebrity poker or something.
Nice. That's such a cool way to break in, because once you say like I've worked with you and they don't remember you being crazy, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Have you ever worked with a comic though that you like really love and you're nervous?
Yeah, of course, because you idolize them and you want to do well and you always want to impress them before going up.
Yeah.
Then you're like, when you're crushing, you're like, did you see me? Did you see me? Did you see it? Like a little kid.
That's all you want. You just want their approval in a weird way.
You want them to go, well, you know what it is too. You also want them to go, hey, I'm a national headliner. Come on the road with me.
Come with me. Totally. Do you know a guy named JP Sears? He is I discovered him on YouTube and he makes fun of a lotch of spiritual stuff.
Okay. Oh yes, blonde hair guy.
Yeah, red hair, long hair.
Yes.
But I a super fan of him. And I wrote to the Bookers of the Punchline and I said, hey, I have no idea if you have anyone working with him when he's coming in on this week, but I would love to volunteer myself because he's one of my favorite people. So they booked me with him. And I was so nervous meeting him because I was obsessed at the time. Like I loved his videos. I followed his relationship. So as soon as it was him and Amber is his now wife, and I got in the green room and I was like Chris Farley from when that show, like what was that show on SNL?
The Chris Farley show on SNL.
Yeah, when he was nervous.
You remember that time?
That
was you.
That was me, and I was like, God, what is happening to me? Because I like repeated all their Instagram stories. I was like, oh my God, I know you guys just moved to Texas. How's your dog doing? Oh my God, I love wiener dogs too. I know he's a cute wiener dog. Are you guys nervous about? And then I just kept going. I'm like, Jesus, Sandy, calm down. But I couldn't. I was too excited.
That's funny. And yeah, I know you're like a radio host. A stand-up comedian, you're comfortable in front of the microphone. You're talking. You remember that time on Instagram?
It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna text somebody real quick.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Elwo?
No.
Okay.
No. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Anybody have questions for Sandy or anything? Anybody? Why don't you tell us about your interaction with Dana Carvey? That must have been fun.
Dana Carvey was at Mill Valley. I think, does he live in the North Bay? I feel like he does. He worked there a lot. It was just a showcase night, and I didn't get to talk to him a lot, but I remember talking to him outside, and he's like, you have some really funny stuff. And it's just, you look at these people and you think, how are you so famous and you're so nice and normal? Like
right.
you're legit famous, but here you are. It's the coolest thing to just have that moment of realizing that we're all people. Like we're all just people trying to do a good job. Some people are really gifted and really famous, but when you could talk to them for even a second and feel recognized by them, it's badass.
But still, you're working with Dana Carvey, the
I know.
legend. He's not just to us in our generation. He's not just a comic or an old guy. He was SNL. He was Wayne. He was that pinnacle. First lady, church lady. He was, we grew up laughing with him.
Yeah.
I think it was different. That's the difference between Chelsea and Kevin, is that we were kids watching him grow, and we, grew with him, and then you got a chance to work with him.
Yeah. I wish we had more time to talk because there was a lot of comics on the lineup, and it was kind of a boys club that night. So the comic who booked him, they're friends. So again, you got to respect the space,
Of course.
but also you hope, your material's good enough that you can say something or have them say something or pull them aside for a second. That's all you can really do.
I know. You just want to interact.
Yeah.
That's it.
I did an open mic in Los Angeles last year because I don't get to go down there as much. But it's different down there because national headliners will drop in all the time.
Right.
And it was so cute to see, so Whitney Cummings came to one of our shows. And oh my God, hi.
Hold on.
Oh my God. Okay. Stop right now. What is happening?
This is Falcor.
Falcor, and you're right. He looks like Falcor.
Right? And he
Oh my
runs
gosh.
fast. Why don't you, hey, girls? Oh, they left. Sorry, this is Falcor. He is not just a dog, though. He's a wiener dog. We think he's Yorkie and wiener.
I think he is part wiener dog.
Look at him.
Look at that sweet face. I seriously cannot. Okay, just stop. The close-up is too cute to handle.
Here we go, Falcor. Here we go. Say hello.
Oh my God. Does he make appearances every week?
No, he needs to though. But God, he's such an old man. He is loud. He barks a lot. He's the fun police, because we have another dog that's a pit bull rescue, and he's like he's young and he's the old guy. He's like, but he's camera shy. You camera shy? Okay, you're gonna go.
Oh my God, he's very cute.
Go ahead. Okay, I just wanted to show you.
No, I love him.
I should have named my pit bull Atreyu.
Oh my God, you should
I
have.
went Falcor.
By the way,
Atreyu.
I never know movie references because I'm horrible with movies. And do you know how cool I feel that I just knew that one? Like, thank you for making me feel valid for 1 second.
It's the 80s. It's the never-ending story. You can't go wrong with it. Right?
Classic. We all still want Falcor to be real.
This luck dragon.
And there he is.
I tell you what, this luck dragon before COVID hit saved my comedy career, because this dog had eaten 4.5 ounces of chocolate this big. He ate the whole thing. He had to go to the hospital, get his stomach pumped. Like, he was on the verge of dying. And then then we saw the bill, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to hustle in comedy as much as I could to get this bill paid. And I was hustling, headlining left and right, because I was out there just trying to pay this off as soon as I could. And that dog saved my comedy career.
So are you saying him eating chocolate and having
him almost dying saved my career? Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, whatever it takes to get you motivated.
Right. That right.
Dude,
there.
The day I got faux fired in radio, that's when I kind of woke up. I'm like, oh, maybe we should stop spending money on dumb crap and I'll actually have a savings account. Maybe we should start being responsible. So yeah, that woke me up. I get it.
Yeah, no, it does. It's so funny because when you have that fire, you start to really think like, wow, this is really happening. Like, this is like, we're making this happen. We're being those headliners that go on the road and make it happen. And we're not those guys, or we're not those comics that go, do it part-time. And God, I wish I was that comic for the night where everyone knows who we are and everything. When you were hitting it hard too. It was the same way. It was like you actually physically saw your career unfold and happen. And then COVID was like, nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Just cry on your couch for a few months.
Nope. How was it on the road for you when you were on the road as a comic? Pre-COVID, yes.
I didn't do too many weeks on the road because I don't have that much time to take off because of radio. So the road gigs I did one in Reno, which I loved because I love casinos and I love slot machines. I don't even care if I'm working a week at a club. I just want to be there.
You just want to be around there. You know what? I love the grungy slot machine area when you just sit there and you see people just.
Yeah, don't you feel pretty? Don't you?
I do. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Exactly.
You actually see what humanity is
You get
like,
free drinks.
right?
I just went to Harrah's about 2 weeks ago in Tahoe because it was a drive and I had a free room and I had 3 hand pays that weekend on penny slots.
Damn,
Isn't that
bro.
nice? I don't know what happened. It was so magical. Wait, what was the question? The question was about road comedy.
Yeah,
I wish I had more experience with road comedy to know. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to be a full-time road comic. I think it'd be really hard.
grueling. Yeah,
Grueling for sure. I'm very grateful I have my radio job because I don't have to stress that much about like where will I stay and how will I afford a plane ticket. Thank God for that. Because if you're a full-time like traveling comic, man, if you're not headlining, and even if you are, doesn't even mean they'll put you up all the time.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, you got any comedy horror stories? Anything that fell apart or on radio?
Stories.
Radio horror stories?
I don't know. This is not a horror story, but I think it's interesting to talk about. One of my earlier gigs was at Harbin Hot Springs, which is a clothing optional resort. And you remember the Brainwash in San Francisco, right?
Yes.
So Brainwash it was an open mic and a laundromat, and it was actually kind of an institution for comics. That was every Thursday night. That was our place.
Right.
And some of the comics there once said, "You got to do Harbin." I'm like, "What the hell's Harbin?" It's like a clothing optional place, but it's cool, man. They put you up, they get you pizza. And I was like, pizza? Like, I didn't care about anything
They're
else.
like, are they going to pay me? No, naked free comedy.
It wasn't even paid. I was so excited about a free meal. And I also just like, here's what I love about doing comedy in different places though. I love exploring people and how they live and who they are. It's like getting a slice of another person's life for a night and also being able to make them laugh. Like what a great way to see the world. That is what I love most about it. So Harbin, and I don't know if anyone watching has been, but it burned down from the fires a few years ago and now they rebuilt it, but it is clothing optional. So the area they did stand-up comedy was in their like community room, and you had to be clothed to be in there, but some women just didn't care. They took their top off and like they'd lay on the pillows on the ground. It was such a different vibe. There was no, drinks and comedy club vibes. It was very like, all right, just sit back and relax. And,
Zoom comedy live.
Basically, but with like a total chillax vibe because everyone, the hot springs make you relaxed. I have to say, it's weird doing comedy in a showcase when it's not just stand up. My favorite was following a guy who wanted to recite a poem, and he said he wanted to use his sacred rattler. Which was like a rattle thing, you shake. But he said since he didn't have it, he was going to shake his sacred pill bottle. So he shook this pill bottle the whole time and read a poem. And I was like, is this happening right now? Like, okay.
Xanax.
Whatever
Feel that Adderall.
Whatever you got to do to drop the beat, brother. Whatever you got to do.
Right.
But that was like, it was weird, but I made fun of them. Those kind of people were great because there are sometimes audiences you perform for that are so specific. You have to only be in their world. That's right. Like when I did cruise comedy, I worked for Norwegian Cruise Lines. You can't talk about Bay Area stuff. Nobody from the ship they're from everywhere.
You got people from Iceland. What is Bay?
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I bet. And you got to be super clean.
Yes. Also very much a challenge. I can be clean on the radio because I'm used to it, but on stage, it's a little harder for me. I love to swear. I have a sailor's mouth, always have, always will.
I know. I was talking to you before the show and I was like, oh my God, Sandy.
Yeah, I was a mess. This damn lighting kills me. I don't know I think I'm really hormonal today. It's okay.
It's all good.
Tell me one of your horror stories.
Well, I was, but it was Whoa, but it was the parallel universe that you totally forgot.
But you can fill me in on more details. There's got to be more than that one, though.
I had, oh my goodness. Oh, okay, I have one. I was up in the foothills. That's what it's called, the foothills. Basically,
El Dorado Hills?
No, I wish. It was like past that where, the hills have eyes. Yeah. So if you make the hills have eyes laugh, then you're someplace. But even the owner didn't like me for some reason. The host and the feature did great. But for some reason, when I went up there They shut off. This one drunk lady came on stage. Another person was throwing ice on me. It was just like, you could just feel the meth popping everywhere.
Oh God.
Good old Bill.
So how did you get through your set?
I just did it. I interacted. I was like, I'm staying here for an hour, so whether you like it or not. And it was painful. It was painful
God.
for all
And
of
you were
us.
headlining?
I know. Right?
Oh God, that's one of those gigs you wish you were hosting so you could just get your set over with.
Just get in, get out. But no, I did my time, and it was a very long, grueling time. And I got a message the next day from the owner's husband. He's like, "Man, I'm so sorry. Everybody acted all crazy when you get here." I'm like, "Well, you never met human beings before?" Or something. It just like there's like they wanted to go out to the kill or something. I don't know.
Oh, wow. At least they knew that they were a bad audience, but it really sucks when your experience. Like we look forward to being on stage, and when it just sucks.
I would. Even right now in COVID, I probably wouldn't do that. That crowd.
I don't blame you. You know what? I just remembered a bad gig. It was a charity gig, which I thought was going to be like the whole community was coming together. It was a fundraiser for a woman who had breast cancer, and it was outdoors, which is already really hard to do comedy. And the comedy was happening, but everyone was everywhere else. They were at their tables, eating, or there was a, face painting for the kids. So when the comedy started, some people came on and watched, but towards the middle of my set, there was a group of like 6 kids who came to the front of the stage. So like if I looked down, they were right there. They weren't sitting, they were standing, looking up at me and yelling, "Get off the stage. You suck. You suck." And then they'd yell to their dad, "Dad, when is the comic going to be done? She sucks." Oh. So it's like, how do you continue your set?
How old were they? How old do you think
maybe I would say between like 9 and 13.
Like, let me tell you the truth about Santa.
Trust me, I was tempted.
God.
And it's so hard because the rage is definitely in me. But there's just a little more professional than there is rage. And it's really hard to balance the two.
Oh my God. You must have bit everything inside your mouth. Just like, you're just getting me through this gig.
Yes, and totally not paid gig. And I just remember.
You said it was a non-paid gig?
Well, it was a fundraiser. So it's like I wanted to donate my time, of course. Right. But I drove an hour and a half to go to this place. And I thought, like, this sucked. And then it really affects your day. Like you drive home thinking, what's my purpose? Why am I doing this? Is this my calling?
It's the worst of those types of gigs is when you're going and you're driving and you're on your way home and you're thinking of all the funny stuff that you should have said to those people. And you're like, damn it.
Totally.
I would have killed.
Try this out. So my last cruise, let's say I was there a week, right? And in a week you have everywhere from like 12 to 16 shows. I think we had 14 shows that week. And a lot of the people will come in multiple times because it's free. And there's like out of 14 shows, I would say there's probably 3 that are adult. So most of them are totally G-rated shows. And we have to rotate our material as a host. You have to rotate your material, but there's only so much you have. I don't have 10 different 14-minute or 14 different 10-minute sets or 12-minute sets. So I would probably every third show, I would do another one of the same. Well, this one girl came to all the shows. And by my second to last show, she's 9 years old, yelling every headline out before I got there or punchline out before I got there. Every single one. And I remember the mom was like, shh, like trying to get her to be quiet. And the audience, it took over because she was so loud. And all I remember was saying to the audience, what you guys are witnessing is my worst nightmare in real time. So I hope everyone's enjoying it. That's all I could say. Cause when you're employed, you can't be mean. They're a guest and she's not being a bad person, but I was so uncomfortable.
But you know what? We're going to see those people again when we go back to live comedy.
I know when real life.
We miss those people.
I know. Thing. Go ahead and heckle. I'm already dead inside. That's how I feel. Seriously. I can't. When I go back on stage, this year has broken me so much that I'm not scared anymore. I'm like, what up? Bring it. Bring it.
Nice. Speaking of that, Matthew Robinson just said, Mike, you're living in a horror comedy movie. The hills have mics.
Dude, totally.
Are you ready to laugh? Well, Sandy, we're at an hour.
Oh my God, we made it. Fast. That was really, thank you for everyone for tuning in.
Now you can go to bed.
I know. I got to take my makeup, all the sweat off my face. Oh, next time I'll provide a more matte finish.
Do you have any advice for newer comics or anybody that's trying to break into comedy after COVID? Do you have any advice for them?
I don't know if I have advice, but I do think the things that make you laugh in your life, make a log of those. Like those moments stand out to you for a reason. So whatever, and because we do this with our morning show too. Like there are things that happen that you think are funny, and I know they always say like, well, just because you think it's funny doesn't mean everyone will. That could be true too. But I do think real life is funny. So tell your stories, everyone, and be authentic. Especially right now, we are dying for real stuff.
I know.
Like, to know that the person talking feels the same things we do, or goes through the same things, or can empathize. That's what we want.
That's awesome. Thank you for the words of wisdom.
And get that blue check mark and just sail off into the sunset.
Well, before we get going, I have to promote one thing, and then we'll promote
Please
you.
do.
And then we'll get going. I have a new impression video coming out next week. If you haven't watched my YouTube page, I do these impressions. I did an impression of Liam Neeson from Taken. I did an impression of Nick Nolte from Tropic Thunder. And I have a trailer now, a teaser for my next impression, which I will reveal next week. So here's a quick teaser of what it could be. Yes, next week, 9/24. But right now, well, hold on. I think people have something. Does anybody have anything for Sandy? Matthew says, thank you, Sandy. Get some good rest. That's awesome. An hour of my life. Thank you.
Oh,
Matthew says,
hour of his life. Does that mean he was really disappointed?
no, he meant that in a great way. Look at that.
Oh, really?
See the emoji? He's cracking up. He had a great time.
God, emojis are so hard to read.
That's how I read it, and that's how I'm going to read it. He had a great time. But ladies and gentlemen, please follow Sandy at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sandy Stec. Do you have anything else to promote?
I wish I did. I will get there. Right now, my comedy calendar says rescheduled to 2021. So
perfect.
But
well, you're always welcome back on the show. I had a great time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do a morning radio show weekday mornings 6 to 10 on Star 101.3 in San Francisco every weekday morning. So if you're up, great. If not, it's also on the iHeartRadio app. You can look up Marcus and Sandy.
That's awesome. And before I leave, I like to leave with a Sam Elliott prayer. Are you ready?
Yes.
I want everyone to
have
a great. Here we go. Here's a Sam Elliott prayer for you. And now, a prayer from Sam Elliott.
Dear Heavenly Father, give me the strength, for I don't have any patience for stupidity anymore. Everywhere I go, I see someone doing something stupid. I just want to smack them across the head, but I can't, dear Father, for you are the dude of this universe. Dear Lord, we're in a pandemic and I'm starting to lose my cool. All I want to do is sit in my leather chair, smoke a Marlboro Red, and drink a beer. Coors, America's beer. Lone Star Barbecue. Amen.
There we go, Sandy. That's my prayer to you. That's the Sam Elliott prayer for all my guests. I wish you nothing but the best of success. I wish you well. And when you get back on stage, I hope you headline everywhere you go.
And I hope you do too. And I hope to see you soon. And thank you for everyone for watching. I hope it wasn't too much of a buzzkill on my part.
No, are you kidding me? This was a great 1 hour and 10 minutes. Awesome. And I like to say that's the comic in us. We always count the extra seconds. Well, Sandy, thank you so much. Get some rest. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I.